Hey, can you do me a favor? Stop abusing your inner child. Please. If you had a kid that came up to you crying and said, "Daddy, Mommy, I feel sad." And if you told that kid just to shut up, that would be kind of abusive, wouldn't it? If you had a little kid that came up to you and said, "Daddy, Mommy, I'm really afraid," and you said, "Go to your room, get out of here," that wouldn't be a nice mommy or daddy. But the thing is, you have a bunch of inner children in your own psyche. And I want you to think to yourself, how are you treating them when they present their fear, their insecurity, their anger? How do you react to your own inner children? Isn't it true that you tell them to shut up? Or maybe you try to figure out the origin of the problem rather than consoling a crying, suffering child. See, the thing is, we have multiple levels of our being. We have an inner child. We have a wiser adult part. We have an emotionally erratic part. We have a dry, boring, overly logical part. We have all these levels. And in my work, we have levels that are beyond the body. We have the soul, the higher self, whatever you want to call it. We have different aspects of ourselves. But the one I'm talking about here is your inner children. And it's not just an inner child. There are many inner children within you. There are as many inner children within you as episodes of hurt and pain that were never resolved. Now, let's be clear. Kids are really resilient, and they can not get hurt by certain things. They could get screamed at 100 times and not get that hurt. And then that one time, it destroys them. And so, I'm not saying every time you ever got yelled at, you have this wounded inner child for every time, because that could be thousands and thousands. In my case, it definitely would be. So it's not that, but it's those times where it really hit hard. Now, your natural healing process that your body knows how to do is to allow these feelings to come up. And if you let them come up when they do come up, then they won't come up at the worst possible time generally. They'll come up at random times. They'll come up when you have the emotional space to actually deal with the situation. But most of us don't really handle these things at those moments the way we ideally should. Most of us tell that inner child to shut up and go away. Or we go into an intellectual thing where we try to figure it out. Either way, what we're doing is we're not emotionally connecting with the inner child. Now, here's a little secret to healing yourself. Any time the inner child comes up with a negative emotion, what you might call a negative emotion, if you meet that inner child with compassion and patience, and just pay a little attention and let the feelings be there, and close your eyes and imagine giving that inner child part of you a hug. Imagine loving the scared child, the angry child, the insecure child. Imagine loving all the little aspects of that inner child that you have spent maybe your whole life actually being ashamed of. Have you ever been ashamed when you cried? Well, imagine that you are 5 years old and you cry, and you see your parents being ashamed of you for crying. How does that feel? Not too supportive, right? And it gives you a message like there's something wrong with you. You are not good enough. You are lacking. They don't have your back. And now you're doing it to yourself. You don't have your own back. Quit abusing your inner child. When your inner child has an emotion like that, and basically anytime you have reactive emotions, 80% of the time that's your inner child. It's not your inner adult. Even if it is something that relates to a trauma from adulthood, that trauma probably triggered an inner child trauma. They're probably all linked together like a chain. But anyway, if you just take that inner child, say, go ahead, feel what you're feeling. I got you. And if you make that a practice in your life, you won't need a healer like me, hardly ever, if ever. If you adore your inner child relentlessly, it will change your subjective experience of life. And when you do that, that'll start changing your objective experience of life. You will start manifesting a different reality. Mark my words. Try it. See if it works. Or prove me wrong and tell me how wrong I am in the comments. I'd love to find out about that. Thanks for watching. If you'd like more information on my work, go to andysway, andysway.com, or you can email me for more information or to get on my mailing list at andysway@yahoo.com. Thanks so much for watching.